Hello, my name is Sally Ryan Kostick, and I am the curator of the Bradford Landmark Society at 45 East Corydon Street, Bradford, Pennsylvania. Welcome to Coffee with the Curator. Today, I'm going to be talking about our newspaper collection, which is a wonderful collection of Bradford-era newspapers and the Bradford Evening Star and the Daily Record. Watch along and learn more about this wonderful collection and other things down at the Landmark. This is a view of the newspaper room in the Bradford Landmark Society. As you can see, we have quite a few Bradford-era newspapers. Our collection starts in 1883 and goes to May of 1946. Here's another view of our newspaper room at the back of the Landmark Society. All these newspapers have been microfilmed, and many of them are online as well. Here's an example of the Bradford era from 1883. You can see it doesn't look much like the paper of today. There's an awful lot of ads for oil field equipment and news of the oilmen. And also, there's only 4 pages to this newspaper. Matter of fact, the only local news in the entire newspaper was found in a column called the Daily Developments. You may wonder how the Bradford eras from the old days differ from the newspaper of today. Well, this newspaper is dated June 10th, 1920. And there's a lot of things that are different back in those days. For example, there's no Round the Square column. That wasn't started until December of 1949. There's no comic pages. The obituaries, which many people do research with, doing their family history, do not appear on page 2, like they do today, but are scattered throughout the newspapers. There's no color photographs back then. The cost for this paper was 3 cents. Those are just some of the changes. We also have bound editions of the Evening Star and the Daily Record, which was a major competitor of the Bradford era for many years until they merged in the 1930s. These records, like the Bradford era, are all on microfilm, so we have no problem with using the actual newspaper themselves. The Bradford Landmark Society didn't always own all these Evening Star newspapers, and we consider ourselves lucky to have them added to our collection. In October of 2010, the Landmark Society was approached by the Pennsylvania State Historic and Museum Commission, which asked us if we would like these volumes. There were 125 of them. They had originally been in the Titusville Museum, which had sent all of them to Harrisburg to be microfilmed. When the microfilming was done, Titusville didn't want them back. So they asked Bradford if we would want them. We certainly did. You might also wonder about the Bradford Evening Star and the Bradford Daily Record. The Bradford era came out in the morning. It was a morning paper, and the Evening Star came out in the evening. It cost 2 cents and was a competitor for the Bradford era. As you can see by this edition, which was July 11th, 1924, it really likes sensational headlines as well. We also keep other newspapers in these acid-free boxes, also in the Bradford Landmark Society. These are the rare newspapers. We either don't have a lot of editions of them or they're incredibly fragile, and we don't let the public generally look at them. This is the rarest newspaper that the Bradford Landmark Society owns. It's called The Settler and was published in Smithport in September of 1839. As you can see, it's a very small newspaper, much smaller than the Bradford era, and the cost was $1.75 for the year. It was published every Saturday. We also have an edition of the Bradford Miner, which dates from April 16, 1858. This is the first newspaper that was ever published in Bradford. Another one of our rare newspapers is the Bradford New Era, which dates from November 6th of 1875. It was published in Bradford, and it predates the Bradford era. This has been a quick look at the newspaper collection of the Bradford Landmark Society. Collections such as newspapers, books, photographs, records, clothing are important to the history of an area. and the Bradford Landmark Society is the keeper of such history of Bradford and the Tuna Valley. It's important that we preserve and record the history of the city. We welcome you to more Coffee with the Curators and hope that you enjoyed it. Thank you.